Okay, General, you were tasked with studying all this. The Russians were studying it. So they're at Fort Bragg and other places. You had gotten up to the point about some of the experiments with animals. Please continue, sir.
What I was talking about was that I put together this high-performance task force to try to figure out how we could cope with the lack of resources and more requirements. And many different kinds of things, appeared on my desk, one of which was this ability to use the mind to stare at an animal. It doesn't need to be a goat, but an animal. And with mental power, explode the heart. Well, that was not my responsibility. My responsibility, and I got to underscore this, Alex, my responsibility was the intelligent side of this thing. Going out and exploding somebody's heart is the operational side. That's the G3 instead of the G2 in military parlance. My responsibility was intelligence. So when this thing appeared on my desk, and it did, there's no doubt about that, what I did was I took it to the Special Forces folks, say, here, this is a technology that you probably need to exploit. This is one that you need to experiment with. This is in your operational side of the house, not my intelligence side of the house. So I literally took it down to Fort Bragg. I turned it over to them and said, here, you do with it what you want. Now, of course, what's happened out of all of that is that everybody says, well, I'm the guy that was doing it. Well, the answer is, no, I wasn't. I discovered it was brought to me. It appeared to work. I didn't play with it. I just took it to the people who were responsible for using it or developing it or training their people to use it in the case of an emergency.
Did it work? I mean, is that classified?
What's that?
Did it work?
I don't know. I really don't know. No. Let me turn it a different way. Do I believe it worked? Yes. Do I know that it worked? No, because I never tried it myself, and I never saw any goat that ended up dead. However, I did see a number of testimonials that said that worked.
From the Army?
Yep.
Special Forces said it was working. They're not normally the types to just make things up internally. But, I mean, the point is, this has been on the TV, mainstream TV, that the Russians believed all this. And is that, I know you can't get into intelligence, but I would imagine that's where this intelligence came from. So the Army tested it and tried to see if it was real.
Yeah. Well, incidentally, I don't have any problem believing that it works. I do have, I cannot say that because I have no direct information. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I haven't seen one explode. So other than testimonials, I don't know capability.
But Bragg is saying it worked.
Yes. Or at least that's my understanding, yes.
Well, we've kind of gotten off the track there, but that's interesting. So that gets into what these elites believe and some of the things that's going on just in that little window that you saw into. We're gonna break and start the final hour. I want to get into solutions with you guys and why you guys have moved to Panama. You're trying to teach folks how to grow organically, and then export the technology all over the world so people can get ready. Dr. Laibow has talked a lot about this. You guys had a very successful practice in all sorts of organizations and foundations here in the U.S., so I'll ask you when we get back in 1 minute, or 70 seconds technically, why you decided to go down to Panama. Last time I talked to you a year ago or so, you guys were still coming back to the U.S. some. Now you're not. And we've got to talk about what happened at the Codex Alimentarius meeting a few months ago that you covered in Europe as well. So our amazing guest with us for one more hour straight ahead. healthfreedomusa.org is their website. The final hour. This is a quick 5-minute segment, but a long segment coming up with both of our guests joining us. My website's Infowars.com, of course, PrisonPlanet.com, JonesReport.com. Their site's HealthFreedomUSA.org. We're going to put that up on the screen. Again, we're now live at PrisonPlanet.tv. Been live for the last 55 minutes. And we are talking to Major General Albert Bert N. Stubblebine III, U.S. Army retired. You can read his bio at healthfreedomusa.org. And his wife, Rima E. Laibow, M.D., graduate of Albert Einstein College of Medicine. There's so much to get into. I mean, perhaps we should get a report from you guys about going to Codex Alimentarius UN meeting and what it is and how they're trying to block our access. I mean, here's an example. Toronto bans bottled water sales, but junk sodas remain legal. That's Natural News. Mike Adams, that you guys work some with, another great guy. Again, if they can ban bottled water, they can start banning other foods, other things. This is setting precedents. Tell us what's going on with that.
Well, what's going on with that is that Codex Alimentarius is designed to make it impossible to get healthy food anywhere. And the reason that we came to Panama is directly related to that. And indeed, General Stubblebine and I have been met at gunpoint in a public meeting, a Codex Alimentarius commission meeting, which is their annual big meeting where they ratify the harm that each of the committees is doing and move it forward and make it global policy. We have been met at gunpoint.
Can I correct one thing? The gun wasn't pointing at us. The guns were actually in their holsters, but they did have guns. That's what she's talking about when they came to get us.
And this is not something that other observers were treated to. None. We were sequestered. There was the main meeting room had about 180 empty seats, and we were in the fourth floor gallery way up above with a guard at the door, and any time either one of us tried to go to the bathroom or to get lunch or whatever, we were followed by the guards and kept away from the delegates. Well, how stupid, because we visit the delegates and the heads of state and the members of parliaments in the developing world in their own countries, and there are no guards there yet, anyway, keeping us away. Why did they need to keep us to ordinary unarmed citizens?
Because there were only 100 extra seats, and we were told that there were no extra seats, so we had to go to the into the upper balcony.
But why did they choose to do that, to perpetrate that lie? Well, obviously because we're being very, very effective. Now, at the last Codex meeting that we attended, we were able to galvanize the African nations in their opposition to having GM food and seeds thrust down their throats to kill them, to sterilize them, and so on, because they know the score. Tragically, the last Codex meeting that we wanted to attend, which was in South Africa at the beginning of November, dealt very much with the issue of genetically modified food and toxins for babies and for sick people. And when we have attended these meetings, we've been able to achieve striking positive forward movement, like banning fluoride from formula for normal infants through our efforts at this same committee meeting in Thailand 2 years ago. That was an incredible victory that was brought about by presenting science and by using the coalition of the unwilling that we have spent years creating. At this last meeting of the same committee, the Committee on Nutrition and Foods for Special Dietary Uses, that was meeting in November in South Africa that I mentioned, we weren't there. Why weren't we there? Because the economic crisis had hit and our donations had plummeted to the point where we literally could not afford the airfare, we could not afford the hotel, we could not afford to go to this meeting. Now, that's not okay, because we are totally donor supported. We have no support.
Well, stay there. We're going to try to fix that. Stay there, Doctor. We got a break. Come back. We'll try to fix that right now, because I've been tracking this, and you guys are doing so much of the work. There's literally nobody going to these meetings and resisting and educating.